I'm Sarah Baxley, and welcome to Pinky the Bear. This is my Mystics, Metaphysics, and Mindfulness channel, and I am here today with your astrology forecast for the week of September 16th, 2018. So the two upcoming themes for this week are 1. Necessary changes, and 2. Shaking things up. Okay, so let's start out with our first theme of the week, which is necessary changes. So we have the first quarter moon on Sunday, September 16th, right? And first quarter moons in a moon cycle, it's kind of like the first initial turning point as we're kind of like building momentum up to the full moon, essentially, right? So the next full moon is coming up on Monday, September 24th. And, you know, so basically we have kind of this turning point that's happening here on September 16th at this first quarter moon. And, you know, so again, back to this, you know, theme number 1 of necessary changes, you know, this is actually going to be specifically, I think, in regards to our interpersonal relationships. You know, wherever there is kind of like a little bit of room for improvement, or kind of like cutting things out that aren't really effective and aren't really working anymore, I think that we're going to kind of see this as a theme, both building up at this first quarter moon on Sunday the 16th, and then really kind of building up into the full moon on September 24th. And so we have the sun ingress into Libra on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, which basically signifies the fall equinox, right? And, you know, Libra is definitely all about kind of like one-on-one relationships, one-on-one interactions, whether or not it's with a significant other, a coworker, a business partner, you know, anything like that. And, you know, we have kind of the sun getting ready to ingress there. We have that full moon right away on Monday. We also have Mercury at the end of the week ingressing into Libra as well. Now, Libra is known for being the sign, you know, of relationships and of, you know, kind of like the way that we relate to other people or partnerships. And it's ruled by Venus after all. So, you know, the thing is that with Saturn, again, it's like rules, restrictions, boundaries, you know, and when that's squaring Mercury in Libra, Mercury is about communication. So it's kind of like restricting our communication in some way, specifically in regards to our relationships, which sometimes doesn't always feel too awesome. Maybe we need to set boundaries with people that we haven't, you know, set, you know, things that need to be made. And then we have, you know, this full moon that happens on next Monday, and, you know, that full moon, it's, you know, sun in Libra, moon in Aries, and then we have Saturn T-squaring everything up in the mix. And so, you know, again, kind of like repeating this theme of like, you know, like, how are we taking responsibility in our relationships? Like, what isn't working is going to be very apparent, right? It's going to kind of get cut out. And one of the other notes that I put is that, you know, with the Sun-Saturn showdown of square that happens like next week right after the full moon, there is some type of a restriction that needs to happen within the livelihood of our relationships. There is some type of learning lesson that is going on at this full moon that's important for us to really pay attention to. You know, maybe we're giving too much. Maybe we're not giving enough. You know, maybe there are issues potentially with communication with the Mercury-Saturn square there as well. You know, maybe there's just certain things that we need to really pay attention to within our interpersonal relationships. So that's just all something to keep in mind. Now, going into theme number 2, this is shaking things up, and this is all centered around the Mars-Uranus square that we have upcoming on Wednesday. So this is the third time that Mars and Uranus have had a 90-degree dual off, right? And they're both happening in fixed signs of Aquarius and Taurus, respectively. And, you know, the reason why this is the third time that it's happened this year is because this year we had Mars retrograde, and that's something that only happens usually about every 2.5 years. So thankfully we won't have another one, I think, until like 2020 or something. So basically because of that, because Mars kind of went forward and like stopped and then like went backwards again, it kind of made several different interactions with Uranus. And so I just wrote down a couple keywords that I want to share with you about that. So I put as far as like Mars-Uranus squares, I put impulsivity, breaking free, kind of like maybe feeling confined and like needing to like break free or have freedom in some way. I put fiercely independent, like I can do it myself, I'm gonna go against the grain, I'm gonna get it done. And then I put rebellious assertion, and also unexpected behavior in circumstances. Sometimes we can act, and I'm not like projecting and saying that this is something that's necessarily going to happen, but just something to keep in mind, that sometimes we can project kind of like an unpredictable or unexpected kind of behavior, right? Even like if we're like normally pretty even keeled, with this kind of energy going on with Mars-Uranus squares, we, you know, just like unpredictability is kind of a little bit, the volume's kind of turned up a little bit. You know, we're also can kind of be a little bit more accident prone potentially. So kind of just take a little bit more extra caution this week around Wednesday. Now that all centers around that Mars-Uranus square. Now the last thing that I want to say about this is that basically I want to kind of hone in on the fact that the qualities of both Mars and Uranus are in fixed energy. And the reason why I think this is really important to bring up is because it really kind of shows the nature of this kind of like breaking free, or like these like new patterns, or, you know, kind of like this shaking things up. Is it's, you know, fixed signs are awesome when they are firm, steady, reliable, you know, dependable, right? Also stubborn, also not really liking change, you know, also kind of not really wanting for things to be kind of different. And so I think that one of the most amazing things about this particular formation, and the fact that it's happened now 3 times this year, is that it's really kind of showcasing that, you know, whatever these things are that we maybe have been holding on to, or kind of like digging our heels in the ground about, or maybe holding firm, or kind of just like being stubborn about things, or kind of like really resisting change, you know, this Mars-Uranus square is kind of like the opportunity to kind of break out of that, right? And sometimes, you know, it's not always like because we want to. Sometimes circumstances, you know, pop up to kind of remove us from our comfort zone. So we're just really gonna see a little bit of this, because when Uranus comes along, it's like, look, something's gotta change, and let's just freaking rip off the band-aid and get along with it. So anyway, yeah, so I just kind of wanted to throw that in there. So anyway, I think that's everything for this week. I really appreciate everyone tuning in, and I hope that you have a great rest of your week. And don't forget to like and subscribe, or leave me a comment, say hello, talk to me, and I will see you around. Thanks. Cheers.